Chapter 7, Lesson 2, Guided Practice, Solving and Writing Addition Equations. Number 1, 1 and 2, solve each equation and check your solution. So number 1, we have y plus 7 equals 10. Well, we want to isolate the variable y. We don't want y plus 7. We just want y by itself. So to cancel out the plus 7, we use the inverse operation minus 7. And the subtraction property of equality says if these two sides are equal, which they are, we need to keep them equal. So if I subtract 7 from one side, I need to subtract 7 from the other side as well. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we have y plus 7 minus 7, which just leaves us with y because the plus 7 minus 7 cancels out. So we have y, and then bring down the equal sign, and then 10 minus 7 is 3. We box our answer, and we do want to show our check step. So we put a check mark to let our teacher know this is where I'm starting my check step. Okay, I write the original question, the original equation, which is y plus 7 equals 10. Then we know that y equals 3. So, well, we think y equals 3, and we want to check that. So where the y is, we substitute it with the 3. So 3 plus 7 equals 10. So then we simplify the left-hand side. 3 plus 7, we add those together to get 10. Bring down the equal sign, and then bring down the 10 from the right-hand side. These two are equal. So then once we're finished with our check step, we put a check mark so that we know that that equation was correct. We just proved it with the check step. All right, so it may seem really unnecessary to show this check step because obviously we know that 3 plus 7 equals 10 and we can do that in our head. However, we want to become really comfortable with the check step process itself because our equations, especially in 7th and 8th grade, are going to become more complex, and we want to make sure that we have a strategy for checking to make sure that we have the correct answer. So eventually, instead of just having simple one-step addition equations, we'll have multi-step equations, and they'll have fractions, they'll have subtraction, they'll have division as well, and you may have things going on both sides of the equal sign, operations on both sides of the equal sign. So the equations themselves are going to get more complex, and so we want to make sure that we're able to check them for accuracy. So we are starting to learn how to do the check step right now so that when we do get to the more complex problems, we're comfortable with the check step and we really know how to use that to check our answer for accuracy. Moving on to number 2, we have 10 equals 6 plus e. So we don't care what 6 plus e equals, we care what e equals. We don't want 6 plus e on the right-hand side. We want to isolate the variable e so that it's all by itself. So we do not want the 6 here. It is a positive 6. Okay, so in order to cancel out a positive 6, we need to subtract 6. And the subtraction property of equality, remember these two sides are equal. So if I want to keep them equal, which I do because I want to know what e equals, whatever I do to one side of the equation, I need to do to the other. So if I subtract 6 from the right-hand side, I also need to subtract 6 from the left-hand side. And I draw my equal line. Okay, so we want to have that line just like when we were at elementary school, when we said 2 plus 3 is 5, we want that equal line there as well. This is the same line that we've always been using. So we want to continue to use that because that shows the end of an operation in a multi-step equation. So that helps to clarify our work. So we have 10 minus 6 on the left-hand side, that's 4. Bring down the equal sign. Then on the right-hand side, we have 6 plus e minus 6. So we line up our constants together. So numbers under numbers. Eventually, when we get to multi-step equations, you'll have numbers and letters, and you'll make sure you line them up with like terms. But right now, we just have the numbers that we're working with. So 6 minus 6 is 0. So we would have 0 plus e, which is just e. Okay, so these we can cancel those out. The reason we can cancel them out is not because they're the same number, but they are. The reason is because 6 minus 6 is 0, and 0 plus e is just e. So our answer is 4 equals e, or e equals 4. And then we want to have our check step, write the original equation, 10 equals 6 plus e. We said that e is equal to 4. Okay, so we have 10 equals 6 plus, instead of e, we're substituting in 4. Okay, bring down the 10 equals from the left-hand side, and then simplify the 6 plus 4 on the right-hand side. 6 plus 4 is 10. So now we have 10 equals 10. Our check step is complete. You show me where you started and finished your check step. And again, I know that you can do this in your head, but I am setting you up to be successful for pre-algebra and algebra because we want to be able to check our answers for accuracy. Moving on to number 3. A board that measures 19.5 meters in length is cut into 2 pieces. One piece measures 7.2 meters. Write and solve an equation to find the length of the other piece. Okay, so we know that the total board is 19.5 meters, and we know that one piece is 7.2 meters, and then obviously we have an unknown piece. So we'll call the unknown piece X, so we'll say X plus the piece that we do know is 7.2, so X plus 7.2 equals 19.5. And then we want to solve for X. We are that unknown piece. We want to find that. So we'll subtract 7.2 from each side to isolate the variable X. I am squeezing this in here. You can work on the side or underneath the picture up a little higher on the page if you want more room. We line up the decimal. Okay, and we always subtract from right to left. 5 minus 2 is 3. 9 minus 7 is 2. 1 minus nothing is 1. The 7.2 minus 7.2 is 0. So we get X equals 12.3. Okay, so our answer is 12.3 meters. Okay, number 4. And you could do the check step for that as well. The directions on number 3 did not specify, so we are just going to have that there, but you definitely can do the check step, and I would definitely do it on a quiz, okay? Number 4, it takes 43 facial muscles to frown. This is 26 more muscles than it takes to smile. Write and solve an equation to find the number of muscles it takes to smile. So there are a couple ways that you could write this. You could write it as a subtraction, 43 minus 26 equals S, or you can write it as an addition. Okay, so the number of muscles it takes to smile plus 26, which is how many more muscles it takes to frown, equals 43. So we know that it takes 43 muscles to frown, and then that's 26 more than it takes to smile. So smiling plus 26 more gives you the number of muscles for frowning. And then we subtract 26 from each side. Okay. We get 17. Bring down the equals. 26 minus 26 is 0. And then bring down the S. So S equals 17. Okay, so it takes 17 muscles to smile. And then number 5, how can the subtraction property of equality be used to solve addition equations? It allows you to subtract the same number from each side of the equation. Okay, so that was the guided practice. And that was chapter 7, lesson 2, guided practice, page 528.